So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Moon Rahu in the fourth house of your birth chart. As in, what happens when Moon and Rahu are sitting in the fourth house. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular position, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, along with all your astrological details, for that, check out the links here, karasastrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and a link to my academy, Maghavedic Astrology Academy, where I have my course, Nandi Nadi Astrology, which has started. Tomorrow I'm going to be making my video, especially on planets, before we move on to the more creative stuff of Nadi. So, we are looking at Moon Rahu in the fourth house. The fourth house is the mother, home, happiness, comfort, rest, dwelling, fame from the homeland. Okay. Fourth house is just many, many things. It's actually one of the moksha houses as well, meaning house of escape. And now you have Moon Rahu in here. So the very first thing we see, because Moon is naturally the mother. Mother is going to be very fearful. For example, she has this fear of like losing the home. She will have this fear of, losing something within the home. Becomes OCD. Certain phobias come into play about the home. Like, no, you cannot put, your finished dishes up here. It must go here. And I don't want to see it here. It's like these weird OCDs comes. And of course, there are unnecessary fears also there. Unnecessary fear of like, somebody's watching the home. Like, especially mother will make sure like, there's CCTV cameras around the home. And especially you will see this more when Moon is behind the degrees of Rahu within the home. Your mother will not like to be home alone. That's the first thing, because Rahu is fear. The other thing is, this individual, if this is your chart, they always also feel fear of leaving the home. Like they have this ambition, because see, Rahu is your ambition. Rahu is, where is it that your entire concentration is? So such person likes to be in a home place. And they have a fear of leaving and going to a faraway place. The other thing we also see is that the mother will have huge expenditure within the home, related to the home, wanting to make home a lavish place, wanting to make home a beautiful place. So yeah, a lot of expenditure will happen, and especially also, mother wants to live lavishly. Mother needs to have all the things, that she can enjoy in life. And especially you will also see with the Moon Rahu is that such people may have a home or a paternal ancestral home that will have water in the middle of the home, some body of water in the middle of the home. And depending upon, again, if it's modern city, you could have a swimming pool within the home. One's home eventually will be also on ocean side. It doesn't have to be a beach house, because that prediction is going to be very rare, because most beach houses around the world are going to be minimum of $6 to $10 million. But the thing is, one is going to live very close to the coastline. Meaning, like, for example, when I was in California, I was like 20 minutes, 25 minutes from Laguna Beach. Okay? But yeah, those beach houses were 10, 15 million at that time, 15 years ago. And yet 20 minutes is a long drive back away from the beach. So, you know, but we see that a person will prefer or will enjoy living in a coastline. The other thing, because it's in the fourth house, usually if it's fourth from Jupiter, I have seen this become more true. But yes, a person may actually live in a high rise with Moon Rahu. Like, for example, with Moon Ketu, one naturally should live in a single story home, or they will prefer living in a single story home. Here we see that a person will live in a high rise, or at least they'll have to go. And a high rise does not mean like some luxury apartment. I mean, like our own home in India, in Shalimar Bagh, was like 4 stories. It was 6 stories, but ours was on the 4th. So actually third. Yeah, third. So it kind of becomes that high level. And with Moon and Rahu together, yes, you will have all the food that you want, within the home. All the, nourishment you want within the home. But then also what happens is overeating becomes one of the issues and problems. One has a big, like, especially when this person sees food, some psychological things become active. And they can indulge deep into those particular things. And you will see with the Moon Rahu in the 4th, immediately as soon as you were born, family had to move. Maybe a year or two, family had to move to some faraway place. And especially the other thing we also see is that your paternal ancestors came and settled into the city or country that you're born in. For example, somebody is born in US, but their father and grandfather perhaps came from India back in the 1950s or 60s. So this is how you will see, like, it has to be 100%. You move out yourself, the whole family moves out. And at the same time, the settlement of ancestors would have occurred into the place you're in. And the place that you were born in, there would have been, see, these things are very subjective because depending upon the country, it may or may not hold true. Like here, it won't hold true. Like, for example, right when you get out of your house, there will be a coffee shop. We're living in suburbs. When you get out, you have to travel at least minimum of 2 miles to get to a complex or Starbucks or McDonald's or anything. So it's very subjective. In India, yeah, you might be able to, like, right when we got out, in our flats, there was a shop right underneath, a grocery store right underneath, and walking distance with all the restaurants, meaning you can even see the coffee shop from there. So, these are not something that is like, oh, stunning, But then with Rahu, see, Rahu is vastness and expansion. And then Moon is the mind. One thing I see that mother would have dealt with some psychological issues because there are so many desires with the mother. And especially if Moon has a lower degree than Rahu, then for sure, mother will have way too many desires. And when desires don't get accomplished, they will develop some form of, issues in life, that just never are fulfilled or satisfied. But then also, like in the 4th house shows, mother could have a big heart, huge heart, meaning if somebody needs help, she will be there. She'll be there actually a little bit too much than what the other individual needs. Because remember, Moon Rahu in the 4th, Moon is actually now retrograde. You got to understand. You are going to say, Moon never goes retrograde. Yeah, in the sky it doesn't go retrograde, but when sun and moon are with Rahu or Ketu, they are retrograde. They are becoming unconventional. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Moon Rahu in the 4th house. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. If you want to know where your Moon and Rahu are placed, along with the earlier astrological details, check out the links here, including my course on Nandi Nadi. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.